Hi everybody, I'm Diana here at Old Farm Garden. Actually today I'm sitting in my quilting studio because you may know me as Diana from Build a Quilt. You can check out that channel if you're a quilter. We'd love to have you over there as well. But this video is an update video on my Aerogarden seedling deck and my Click and Grow. So let me just share a little bit before the videos start on why am I doing things indoors. So I live in northeast central Illinois, just about 60 miles south of Chicago, and about, like, if I got in the car and drove east 15 miles, I'd be in Indiana. And so we are technically hardiness zone 5B/6A. They're really thinking about just our little portion of Illinois, putting it into 6A, because our weather for the last at least 5 years has turned completely upside down in the spring and summer. We get like into the days that are 100 or close to 100 as early as April these last few years. So it's kind of crazy that way. It doesn't last at that point, but then the summers are super, super hot. As someone who grew up in Illinois and in this general area, this was not the way spring and summer was growing up. So definitely they're saying that they want to just, like, they've carved out our little piece of Illinois to switch into 6A. It's not official yet, but they say it's coming. So we'll see. Anyway, regardless, my last frost date technically is around April 21st. And I know that already today is March 24th, sorry. We have had 70-degree days and 60-degree days for the last 3 weeks. Now, we have had a couple nights where it's still gotten really cold. So it kind of plays havoc on when can I really put stuff out into our unheated greenhouse, and when can I really put things out into the garden. I'm itching to do it, right? I'm just so there. I've got all my plans and all my seeds. But a friend of mine said, hey, did you know that the Aerogarden that you have, I have a harvest. I like to grow salad greens in the house all year round. Thus the Click and Grow 27 and my initial purchase of the Aerogarden Harvest. And she said, do you know that they have a seed starting deck for your harvest? And so I looked it up and I purchased one. And oh my gosh, you just flip out the deck that's in the harvest, pop this one in. It's super simple. And except the seedling starting deck has 23 little spots. It came with 23 little sponges, which I dumped all out because I soak mine. It says to leave them in there 24 hours. I never leave them that long, but I do leave them for a good 15 minutes to an hour. It's closer to an hour when I forget they're sitting there than when I don't. If I'm like being really conscious, it's like 15 to 20 minutes because I'm excited to get them into the seeds into those little pods. And these little pods allow you to grow any vegetable, fruit, flower that you want. And each deck holds, like I said, 23, which is great for us. It's my husband and myself. And occasionally I like to share things with our neighbors, friends. But I don't need like one of the big decks that, like, I think some of the Aerogarden farms have seedling decks that hold 70 some or 100 and some or something like that. And I just don't need that many. And I guess the Sprout, which is their 3 regular pod Aerogarden, that seedling deck I think holds 15. So if you're somebody who does want to start a few plants, that might be something for you. But this allows me to get these started now. And then as soon as I can plant them out into the garden, I'll be ready to go. And I'll make sure and show you that as well. So this is my first time doing the seedlings in this Aerogarden. And it's my first time that I've ever used a Click and Grow. And I explained there's a little bit different in how those two systems work. I have the Click and Grow 27. It's basically 3 of the Click and Grow 9s on a really pretty stand that came with it. And then that allows me to grow my lettuces, spinach, things like that year round. And arugula is another one I grow a lot of. And the reason I do that is because we now get so hot so early and it stays hot so long. Like, we really didn't have a winter this year. We've had like 4 inches of snow where I live. And growing up, we would have had feet of snow over the winter. So it's completely different. And so it really plays havoc with like the lettuces and things like that. It burns them up really quickly. So I got the idea if I could just always grow them in the house, and they grow beautifully in these little hydroponic gardens. I would not hesitate for a minute to say, if you want to give it a try for those things, go for it. Tomatoes, other things, yes, they work, but you have to remember those plants are going to get really big. So you might not want to like fill up your whole garden, that kind of thing. Anyway, these two next little video segments, one is an update on day, I believe it's 13 of the Aerogarden. And these little seedlings look beautiful. I've had 100% germination. I was thrilled. I put 2 seeds in every pod. I have Roma tomatoes, San Marzano tomatoes, because I make a lot of sauce and freeze it. I have some Chadwick cherry tomatoes, which are the little bitty guys. I love to put those in salads and just maybe have them for things like that. I have 4 broccolis starting in there, like your regular. They're not the huge broccoli heads, but they're pretty good sized broccolis. I have 2 dahlias that have now, both of them have now sprouted. They're my first dahlias I've ever tried this way, and I'm thrilled. And now I have a carnation that is sprouting because I love to grow carnations outside too. They're my favorite flower. And then I have 2 marigolds that are in there that look cool. When I was at the University of Washington, I did some botany courses as electives for my degree. And we grew and studied marigolds. And so I've always found them very interesting little flower plants. And they're great for pollinators. They're great for keeping away certain bugs and pests in your garden or your greenhouse. So I always put some out there, and my husband loves to look at them. So that's always nice too, to make something that you just brings you joy because you want to look at it, right? So that's that deck. They all look great. Both seeds in every pod germinate. I'm thrilled about it. I had seen some people say and talked to some people who said they only got about a 60% germination rate from their Aerogarden seedling. And so I was a little concerned, but I've had 100% germination. So I'm thrilled. Might be beginner's luck. I don't know, but I'm happy with it. And now when you see the video, I have already thinned those out so that they can really, I did peek under and looked at the roots. The roots are coming in beautifully. They're all white and creamy and beautiful. And so as soon as I can get them out in the yard or out in the, these are actually going to go into our greenhouse, our unheated greenhouse for a while. They're going to, I'm sure, fantastic. So without further ado, here comes the update for the seedling deck and the update and my thoughts on the Click and Grow. Enjoy, and I'll see you in the garden. Okay, here we are at Old Farm Garden. This is my Aerogarden Harvest 23 seedling deck for seed starting. This first row are Romas. My second row are San Marzanos. I have some Chadwick cherry tomatoes. These 4 beauties are broccoli. And back here, I'm going to just tilt you over. You can see those beautiful marigolds starting. I have a dahlia coming up, and I have under that dome still a tiny little carnation coming up because I'm going to try and put some of those in the garden this year too. And because we're still in pretty cold temperatures overnight, we're only at the 25th of March, so we're not quite ready to start putting things out into the greenhouse or the garden yet. But this is how these plants have gone, and I have had 100% germination. In fact, all of these had 2 seeds in them, and they all germinated. I've had to thin them, and you can see at this is day 13, they're already getting their true leaves. Really well established. And I took a peek under the tray earlier, and they've got really beautiful, creamy white looking roots coming from them. So this is really, really turning out to be a success so far. Can I keep them alive when I transplant them? We'll see in a few more weeks. I'm sure they'll be fine. I've never started my seedlings in an Aerogarden before, though, so this was a bit of an experiment. But so far, they are
they've done fantastic. I couldn't be happier with these, especially now that I have dahlia and a carnation. I've got another deck like this, another whole unit, and I'll be planting it up, and I'll do a whole from day one on kind of thing with it. But I wanted to show you all of these because, wow, I'm really impressed with how they're coming up so far. They look really, really good. I think they'll end up having some really great planting and all out into the garden later on. Till next time, see you in the garden.
Okay, hi everybody. Diana here at Old Farm Garden. This is my one of my 3 Click and Grow 9s. I have the Click and Grow 27 scenario. It has a beautiful shelving unit that you can put your 3 on. I've only got 1 planted right now because I'm not ready to put up the whole unit. But this is day 11 since I planted these, and I thought I'd show you. We have lettuces down here that are doing really spectacular. And at this point, we've had 100% germination, so I'm thrilled. So I've got lettuces here, and arugula. These are little tomatoes. These are lavender, and I cannot wait to see how these end up doing. I'm super excited about growing lavender indoors this time. I've grown it outdoors, but I'm really excited to see how it does indoors. And it might get to the point where I transplant that outside. We'll wait and see. And if I lift this humidity dome, you can see down there that my strawberries are starting to finally germinate. And that is the last one to germinate, but they're all at day 11. So I'm really happy. I would say that these are doing equally as good at the stage that they are as my Aerogarden seedling deck did. So I don't have any problem. And now the Click and Grow is a little bit different system. Everything is in the pod, the nutrition and everything. I do have some of their pods where I can grow my own seeds. I will be trying that. My main goal for this Click and Grow 27 is to grow a lot of lettuces and green leafy vegetables throughout the year indoors. We have a little bit of a problem these days here where I am in northeast central Illinois, getting our lettuce to grow outside, because where even 10 years ago we wouldn't get into the 90s maybe until late August, we're getting like 90s and 100-degree days in April and May on and off now, and it's really playing havoc with growing my lettuce outside. So that's what I plan to do, but I really wanted to experiment with the strawberries, and I wanted to see how they would do with this lavender, and I did want to grow, these are their mini tomatoes, but I am going to start some of my other seeds, my own seeds, in their Grow Anything pods in the other 2 Click and Grows. But the difference with the Click and Grow from the Aerogarden is that there is no pump in here. This is entirely, in fact, I'll just lift this little guy up, it won't hurt him. You can see everything's in a cup, and there is a wicking system that wicks the water up, and that is their solid plant cup. But let me show you the plant cup that I have the lavender in. It is their Pro Cup, and you order that separately. The unit comes with the solid cups, but these Pro Cups allow you to grow things where you want to give their roots more space and let them grow outside of the cup. And so I wanted to do that so that that lavender, the tomato, and strawberries have a little more room for growing. These solid cups will work fine for the lettuces. So I think probably in the next 3 or 4 weeks, we're going to be able to do some harvesting of some lettuce. I'm very excited. But this is day 11 for the Click and Grow 9, which is part of the, with the Click and Grow 27, you get 3 of these Click and Grow 9 units. So then you have 27, and you get the shelving unit, which looks really nice in your home. It's really well styled so that it looks good in your home as well. So that's all for the Click and Grow update. Until next time, see y'all in the garden.